Hi there, it's Riikka Kovasin here with my monthly project for Nathalie's Creative Squad. This time we are hitting outside and exploring the great outdoors. I decided to make some ATCs inspired by Finnish forests. When thinking about Finnish forest, my thoughts go first to kind of dark fir tree forests and little plants called Linnea Borealis in those. So even though that pink I'm adding as my first layer may look a little bit drastic, it's kind of inspired by the flower. And I wanted to have this contrast between the dark, almost like olive green tones coming on top and the really sparky pink underneath. On top, I then started to build my dark forest by using a branch of a fir tree as my brush. The medium I'm using it with is India ink because it's permanent after drying and I wanted those harsh black lines to appear in the cards. Then it's time to actually start adding some green on top. For that, I'm using a gel printing plate and the same branch I already had. This time I'm using it kind of as a stencil or a patterning tool, let's say, pushing it to the wet paint, removing some of the paint and then pulling the print. So there's some of that texture from the branch still visible in the print. I didn't own the correct tone of green I had in my mind for the forest, so I'm mixing two on top of the plate. There's this greenish yellowish tone and I'm mixing that with a darker blue to get that really fir tree dark green. That pink and green part is going to be the background for the forest for my flowers, so now I need to make the flowers. For that I'm using a cream colored cardstock and a small brush together with some India ink. I'm just painting the plant and not the flower because I'm using the Nathalie's stamps for the actual flower, but well, I'm painting the stems and the little leaves and then I'm cutting these loose to be included in my cards. I got the background to smaller pieces. These are a little bit smaller than the ATC size because I'm mounting them on top of another piece and want that to frame this background. But now I'm making the flowers. I'm using the FAN-tastic Small stamp set from Nathalie Studio and I'm picking one of the fans to resemble the flower. In my eyes, the Park Avenue fan had a perfect little bell type of shape to make the Linnea Borealis flower. As I drew the stems and leaves using the black India ink, I'm also stamping these with black. After stamping, I then cut the flowers loose and then it's time to start building the cards. I mount each background to a piece of black cardstock cut in the ATC size, so that's 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Then on top I'm adhering the plant and the stamped flowers, but first I'm adding a little bit more kind of fir tree inspiration. I'm using one of the FAN-tastic Small stamps to stamp really stylized fir trees to the background. For the trees I chose Van Worst fan because that to my eye resembled most of the fir tree needles in the design. When I then have my highly stylized fir trees done, I'm starting to adhere the Linnea Borealis flowers on top. I'm using just regular craft glue for that, and after getting the hand-painted pieces adhered, I then adhere the flowers on top. To add a little bit of that pink to the foreground as well, because now it's on the background, I'm adding a touch of really pale pink paint. I'm first doing some splashes, but then I decide to color the flowers also lightly. After drying that painty layer, it's then time to add the last details. First I'm adding some word stickers and then some little white marks using a Posca paint pen. And there they are, my great outdoors inspired ATC cards. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing. I'll be seeing you again next month for another part of the Nathalie's Creative Squad posts. Thank you. Bye.